William Hill sponsors Seconds Out.
Radio Rahim in New York City with CALLUM SMITH. I've been to your hometown many times, and I've found it quite exciting for fans when I talk to you. They're all in the comments, they're all watching the videos, but being over here in New York is a bit of a different beast. How are you finding your entrance into America on a grand stage like Madison Square Garden on a huge heavyweight championship undercard?
Yeah, it's been good. Madison Square Garden, as you say, it's an iconic fight venue where a lot of top fighters have fought over the years, and I'm proud to add my name to that list. I'm coming here defending my world titles on a massive platform. Anthony Joshua, everyone in the world seems to want to watch his show, so to fight on this show at Madison Square Garden, it's a chance for me to show the world how good I am.
You know, tournaments aren't nearly as frequent in boxing as I wish that they were. But when they do happen, oftentimes they produce huge stars. They produced Ward, now CALLUM SMITH. What was it like going through a boxing tournament for you as a professional? And did you get everything out of it that you thought you might when you signed up for it in the first place?
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with you. They don't happen as much as they should in boxing. I think it was different, but it was good. It was good to know that providing I come through this fight, I know who's waiting in the next fight, and it gives you that stability. You don't have to sit down and negotiate and wonder who your next fight's going to be against. And to answer your question, yeah, it gave me everything I wanted, and I entered the tournament knowing that if I won it, I'd leave as a world champion and the best middleweight in the world, and I did exactly that. And
now, having won that tournament, you got these straps around your waist, it's time to call people out. You haven't been shy about that, but you haven't landed the big fight yet. So what do you think it would take for you to get Canelo in that ring at 68? He's got a title to defend there. Yeah. What would it take for you to push him to 68 and get the fight you actually want?
I think there's still fights for him at 160, and I think once he's finished and he's cleaned up at 160, he'll decide to move back up to 168. In the meantime, I've got to just keep winning and make sure that when he does step up to 168, the only fight that makes sense is me. I've got to make sure I'm the man in the division, and if he wants to become the best in the world at 168, he has to come through me.
And while you wait on that to happen, that opportunity, what do you have to do at 68? Who's next on that hit list?
Yeah, I've got to take care of business Saturday night, and then I look to unify. I want to become a unified champion. I want to fight some of the other champions, and I believe I'm number one, but there's a few other people who may disagree, and I'd like to clear that situation up, and the only way to do that is to fight each other, and they're the fights I'll be looking to make.
And stylistically, your wins, you weren't always the favorite in the fight.
No.
You were underdog times. You're much better known now than you were then. Has your ability, do you think, improved through the course of this tournament, or were you just able to demonstrate what you always were able to do?
A bit of both. I always believed I was good enough to win the tournament, but I do believe coming through them type of fights, and since becoming a world champion, I've improved again. I believe I'm a better fighter now than before I entered the tournament, and that's what I plan on showing the world the weekend, the slight improvements what I've made, and I believe I'm the best in the world, and I want to show that.
Well, we all saw what Canelo was able to do at his debut at 68. How do you avoid that fate for yourself and match that fight up for me?
Yeah, listen, he's a good fighter, but in my opinion, I believe he's a better middleweight than he is super middleweight. I think as the advantages he has with size at middleweight, he loses when he steps up to super middle, and no disrespect, but he stepped up and fought Rocky Field, and I fought Rocky Field, and we both had similar results, and I just believe I'm a better fighter, and if he steps up, it's a good fight. It's an interesting one, given the size advantage I have, matched and with my ability as well. So it's a good fight. It's one that excites me, it interests me, and it's definitely a fight that I would love to have in the future.
At the beginning of this year, I heard talk of even Ward trying to draw him out of retirement. I know Gallagher's mentioned that many times. What made you think you could beat Ward?
I don't believe he comes out of retirement. Andy Ward's a very good fighter. He's a special fighter. I think my trainer liked the idea of the former Ring Magazine champion against the current Ring Magazine champion, and the Super 6 champion against the World Series champion. But he's happily retired, and if he does decide to come back, there's a lot of options for him, including myself. And I just don't believe. I think if he was going to come back, he would have come back for a bigger fight previously. So No, I don't think. Again, if the Andy Ward fight was offered to me, it's a fight I would jump at, but I don't believe he returns.
How would you approach that fight, stylist? What would be your technique? What do you feel like you could do better than Andre Ward, or what vulnerability could you expose?
I'd have to sit down in camp, and that's what a training camp's for, to come up with a game plan and keep working on it till you get it right, and then perform it on the night. And I believe currently at the minute I can beat any fight in the world at 12 stone. I believe I'm the best on the planet, and that's what I plan on doing the weekend. And whoever comes into the division or moves down to it or moves up, 12 stone, I believe I'm the best fighter in the world.
Now, to get a guy to say that you're the only option, it's not just holding a title, it's not just wanting a fight, but you're going to have to be a name in the division yourself, a draw, if you will, to make that sensible economic fight. So in the meantime, what do you have to do to raise your profile, to make the 168 pounds synonymous with the name CALLUM Smith?
Yeah, I've got to keep winning, beat whoever they put in front of me, hopefully unify the division and look good when I am winning. People like to see knockouts, people like to see big wins, and providing I can provide some of them, then that'll get people talking about me and get my name a little bit bigger, that when Canelo Alvarez does step back up, then the only fight that makes sense is myself.
Guys who get knocked out to 68, one of them certainly is Chris Eubank Jr. What do you make of his success in the division, and what's that matchup like for you?
At the minute, it's not really a fight that interests me too much. He doesn't hold one of the main world titles, and the chance of that fight that happened was in the tournament, and he lost in the other semi-final to George Groves, and he lost pretty well. But he's come back with a good win against James DeGale, so he's put himself back in the mix, and provided he can get another good win against one of the better people in the division, then it could be a fight that happens in the future. We're both from England, we're both British, and it would be a big fight, but in the near distant future, it's not a fight that's part of my plans.
Well, Canelo's not the only former world champion, or at least he's the current world champion, but not the only one who's made his way into the 68-pound division recently. Obviously, I'm talking about Billy Joe Saunders, which is a complicated fight for anybody.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight for yourself? Is that a fight that interests you?
Yeah, he's a champion. He holds a title, and I say I want to become a unified champion, and it's a good achievement to become a 2-weight world champion. He's a good fighter, he's a slick southpaw, and as I say, he's a tough knife for anyone. I do believe he's a middleweight. I believe he's a better fighter down at middle, and obviously the opportunities didn't come for him down at that weight, but he's a good addition to the mix. He's another unbeaten fighter, he's another world champion, so it's another fight that definitely makes sense in the future.
You keep mentioning these guys are truly middleweights. You feel like 68 might be bigger than what they're going to be able to be comfortable at. Is punching power something that you're going to be leaning on? You feel like you're the bigger, stronger man?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm a very big 168, and I believe Billy Joe's best performances and his best weight suited is middleweight, as I do believe with Canelo. They both stepped up to super middle, they both won at super middle, but I just think they're a better middleweight. It's just an opinion. If they stay at super middle, then they're definitely fights that does make sense, and definitely fights I would be willing to have in the future. I believe I'm the best in the world, and I'll beat whoever's in the division.
With the exception of Anthony Joshua, everybody on this card will probably be seen by more people on Saturday night than they've ever been seen by before at one time. If there was one thing that you wanted fans or viewers to walk away from this fight knowing about CALLUM Smith that maybe they don't know today, what would that be?
Hopefully I can put in a good performance that makes people believe I'm an exciting fighter and make people want to watch me again.
Radio Rahim with CALLUM Smith. I certainly want to watch you again. Can't wait for that opportunity Saturday night. Radio Rahim with CALLUM Smith.
William Hill sponsors Seconds Out.